All right. Call to order, Glocester Town Council meeting of June 26, 2025, 7:30. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilor Burlingame.
Here.
Councilor Polisi. Here. Councilor Greathouse. Here. Councilor Steer.
Here.
Councilor.
Here, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, open forum for agenda items. Anybody wishing to speak on the agenda, please step to the microphone, state your name when called on. Nobody there, okay. Moving on to consent items, discussion or action. A, approval of town council minutes. Special meeting of June 11, 2025 and regular meeting of June 5th, 2025. B, tax assessors additions and abatements, May 2025. C, finance director's report, May 2025. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve the town council minutes of June 11, 2025, the minutes for June 5th, 2025. There are no additions or abatements, so the 2024 tax roll for May 2025, and accept the finance director's report for May 2025.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Unfinished business, boards and commissions, discussion or action. Number 1, appointments, discussion or action, parade committee. Number 1, alternative 2, and alternative 3. There are no recommendations right now by the chair. Can I get a motion?
Motion to table the appointments alternate 2 and alternate 3 to the parade committee to the town council meeting of,
I think it's going to be
7/17/2025.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. B, Glocester 2050 Commission, position 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Jacqueline Wallow to position number 2 of the Glocester 250th Commission.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mark Rector to position number 3 of the Glocester 250th Commission.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
I can't make that
I'll
motion.
make
Motion to appoint
Thank you.
Matthew Burlingame to position number 4 of the Gloucester 250 Commission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll recuse myself.
One recusal, John Burlingame. Next motion.
I'll make a motion to table the appointments of numbers 5, 6, and 7 to the Gloucester 250th Commission.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 2 appointments, board and commission appointments, terms run concurrent with the town council to expire 12/31/2026. A, Economic Development Commission, 1 ad hoc voting member number 1, and 1 ad hoc voting number 2. Can I get a motion?
Motion to table the appointments of ad hoc non-voting member number 1 and ad hoc non-voting member number 2 to the Economic Development Commission to the town council meeting of July 17th, 2025.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. New business, voter referendum, approval of ballot question, discussion, or action. The clerk has received the referendum calendar as set by the Rhode Island Board of Elections. The choices are September 2nd or October 7th. Some discussion?
Yes, so obviously, Gene had sent an email out on a timeline where we'd actually have to have it done by September 1, and that would be on July 7th. I did speak with the superintendent yesterday briefly, and she's still working on the budget that's currently passed. I don't know that they would have time to get through everything and make a recommendation to us prior to that. I think we would need a letter from the school committee letting us know what they intend to do and how much they actually need for the referendum to go on, and from the superintendent also with kind of a framework as to what they would be spending that money on.
Okay.
It's not for us, it's for the voters.
It's for the voters, so we can put the
know.
question to the voters properly as to what they're actually going to be spending the money on.
So are you saying that we shouldn't do September 2nd? That we should go?
Well, there's a time period, so
No,
there's
I
a
know,
time
but
period.
July 7th.
So the school board and the superintendent need to have that information to us by July 7th at the
If
be
they
able
want the
to-
September one, if not,
Yeah.
we would
Yeah.
just have to push it to the October one. You come and speak.
So I think just for clarification, am I on?
Just hit the button.
Green light, green means go.
Green
Okay.
needs to go.
Just for clarification, when I came in front of you a few weeks ago, it was the biggest cut, the biggest reduction was personnel. So obviously, if we get the money, the majority of that would go towards restoring personnel. I don't know what a plan would look like, and I just,
Majority, I mean, I think that the whole intention was that we had 85 people in this room talking about how they were losing their jobs, and I think, I don't wanna speak for the whole council, but that's the only reason I went through this whole thing. So that's why we need to know what this money, and the taxpayers need to know what this money's gonna be spent on.
I understand that completely. But I wanna be clear and transparent that there are other unknowns as well, evolving unknowns. There's title money, federal money that we might not get, that it was already built into the budget. There are lots of moving parts here, so the majority of it, depending what we get, would absolutely go towards restoring and retaining as many personnel as possible. But we're also, right now, I'm working on looking at what opening the buildings in the fall would look like with the current budget. So there are a lot of things running parallel. So I just don't know what a plan is or how detailed a plan is. I don't know that we'd be able to give that to you by next week. And I don't know what
Well,
what is needed.
we need to have it, or we have to wait till October. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's.
No, I'm not saying
I
that I
know what
won't
you're
get a
saying,
plan. I don't know the clarification of what a plan is. I've never gone through this process, right?
Sure.
I'm definitely new to this, to your budget. Fresh eyes coming in, as I said to John yesterday, I have a pretty solid understanding of the current budget that was proposed, but we did propose the 840,000 more than what we got. But right now, we're restructuring things. We're looking at what we have, what we need to open schools with, but also the unknowns, is transportation, the unknowns of placements, and the unknowns of the federal money right now, at least for 2 of the 4 titles.
So it just sounds like instead of rushing through this and not having it exactly the way it needs to be, we're probably gonna go with the October 7th.
I don't want to commit to that. I don't know what the plan
I think what we
is.
should do is send a letter,
Yeah.
with the outline, what they need, and then it's on the school committee and superintendent to come up with that information. If they can't come up with that time frame, but then we have to look at the
October.
later.
Okay.
We're going to come up with it as quickly as we can. I just don't know how detailed the plan is, I think is my final statement. How detailed does a plan have to be?
I think we basically want to explain to the voters
Not
what
us.
the money will be spent on.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
when I say us explain, I said, when we put the question to the ballot, we want to state to the voters, this is the intent. It's for the school department for this.
But that was our budget that was proposed.
Right, but, so,
The extra money.
right, so for example, if your intent is to bring back all 13 TAs, we would we would say, this
Not-
money is to bring back the 13 TAs.
Not on the ballot question, but.
In explanation.
In explanation, yeah.
Everyone, I think, had that impression that the
Yeah, 'cause-
referendum was going to be for the employment of those that were losing
So maybe you
their
can just give me
jobs.
some clarification. Well, I appreciate what you said. Maybe you send a letter so it's clear. I don't know
Yeah,
if
we're
it's
gonna
clear
send
to
a
the
letter,
chair
yeah,
what
yeah.
the next steps are. This is other than our conversation yesterday,
Right,
it's the
and-
first I'm hearing that there needed to be a plan, and I really need to be sure that we're set to open in September,
Yeah.
right? Whatever
know-
that looks like, and that would be the
Right.
next layer of it.
You know, so there's a few things to be thinking about here. First of all, that bill, I don't believe as of today has been signed by the governor. I haven't heard anything to say, so it's still not officially
Without him signing
a
it.
done deal,
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So the way it could work is either he can sign it, or it can just go out several days and then it just becomes law. So, but then that's more time frame. I guess the other thing is, we need to have that information to adopt a ballot question that has to be approved by the state, right, Gene? By the 14th or something like that?
The
Date.
final question has to be there on the 14th. So I'd have to have a special meeting
On the 9th.
of the council and then of the board of campuses to certify.
Yeah.
That's if we were to get it on the September docket.
Right.
If we need to get an October one, we'd have theoretically another month.
So, I mean, we can have a letter to you tomorrow
you.
with more information.
Thank you. Okay, that'd be helpful.
All right, so if we're not making a
Well, I
motion
think-
tonight,
Well, I think we need to figure out what type of information we need to send to the school committee and to the superintendent.
Oh,
What
We need to
details
hash
do we
that out
need?
while we're in this.
It's in the email,
David's got
Yeah.
the
so
list
that
of
pretty
everything.
has
much
everything.
covered, it's just a matter of we need to vote to send it to them and, allow
So
them
authorize
to do the work.
our solicitor and the town council president to take care of that.
yep,
Yeah, because we'll need to sign it.
Okay.
so we'll need a motion for that, please. And including a special meeting on July 9th.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town council president and/or our solicitor to send a letter to the superintendent of Gloucester Schools and the school committee for Gloucester Schools as to a plan for what they'll be spending the money on if we put this to the ballot.
And a meeting on July 9th.
And to have a special meeting on July 9th.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. D, Personnel Safety Services, appointment, discussion, interaction, police officer. Council has received the following from the chief.
Sorry,
Oh,
Will,
sorry.
before you start, I need to
Yep.
recuse myself from any discussion or vote on
Yep,
this.
thank you. The council's received the following from the chief to Honorable Town Council from Joseph Del Prete, Chief of Police. Date June 20th, 2025, subject police officer appointment. Dear council members, I respectfully request to appoint Aaron L. Steer of Gloucester to a Patrol Officer 2 police officer position on the Gloucester Police Department. Aaron Steer is highly qualified 21-year-old veteran of the Warwick Police Department and Brown University Police Department. Aaron Steer's transfer from the Brown University Police Department will be considered a lateral transfer to Gloucester Police Department. A complete police background investigation was conducted with no adverse or disqualifying findings. Aaron Steer comes highly recommended and will be an asset to the Gloucester Police Department. The Rhode Island Police Officer Standards and Training Committee is set to approve his qualifications and lateral transfer on June 26, 2025. I would further request this appointment take effect Sunday, July 6, 2025 at Patrol Officer 2 salary of $74,902.21 and a full benefit package in accordance with the current IBPO 638 collective bargaining agreement. Aaron Steer will be on probation until July 6, 2026, and upon satisfactory completion of the probationary period, Aaron will advance to senior patrol status, patrol based on IBPO 638 collective bargaining agreement. This lateral transfer appointment is needed to fill a recent senior patrol officer resignation vacancy in May of 2025. Respectfully submitted, Joe Del Prete and a memo. Can I get a motion?
Motion to appoint Aaron L. Steer to the position of Patrolman Officer 2 on the Gloucester Police Department as a lateral transfer effective on July 6, 2025, at the Patrol Officer number 2 salary of $74,902.21. Said position includes a full benefit package in accordance with the current IBPO 638 collective bargaining agreement.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One recusal. Motion passes. Number 2, Officer Police Recruit Appointment. The chief has submitted the following request to Honorable Town Council from Chief Joseph Del Prete, Chief of Police, date June 15, 2025. Subject, Police Officer Recruit Appointment. Dear council members, I would respectfully request to appoint Paige M. Bossier, age 21 of Coventry, to the Rhode Island Municipal Police Training Academy commencing on August 4th, 2020. I guess it would be 5? Is that a typo?
Probably a typo. It has to be a typo.
Yes. Her Rhode Municipal Training Academy salary will be $750 per week until December 19th, 2025, and will be afforded all medical benefits according to the Town of Gloucester Policy Handbook. All recruit candidates are required to have a healthcare coverage while in the municipal police academy. The town will provide the opportunity to enroll the candidate as August 4th, 2025 to meet the stipulation if needed. After successful completion of the Rhode Island Municipal Training Academy on December 19th of 2025, Paige LaBossiere will be granted a one-year probation period officer position with the Gloucester Police Department. This position further provides a full salary and benefits package in accordance with the current IBPO 638 collective bargaining agreement. This police officer recruit appointment process was approved by the town council in the FY 2025-26 budget to fill current vacancies and anticipated police officer retirements this upcoming year. Candidate LaBossiere has successfully completed all phases of the recruit selection process and background investigation. Respectfully submitted, Joseph Delpree. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to authorize the appointment of Paige M. LaBossiere to the Rhode Island Municipal Police Training Academy commencing on August 4th, 2025, and said appointee shall receive a salary of $750 per week until December 19th, 2025, and she will be afforded all medical benefits according to the Town of Gloucester Policy Handbook. After successful completion of the Rhode Island Municipal Training Academy on December 19th, 2025, Paige LaBossiere will be granted a one-year probationary police officer position for the Gloucester Police Department.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 2, Recreation Department supplemental appointments if needed, summer 2025 recreation positions. Discussion or any action? Is Bob here? All right. Let's move to Public Works. 2, Public Works Council received the following request from the DPW Director. June 20th, 2025 to Honorable Town Council from Gary Tremmel, Public Works Director, vacation time carryover. I'm requesting approval to allow DPW Administrative Aide Beth DeCourt to carry over up to 60 hours of vacation time from 2024-2025, fiscal year 2025-26. I would also like to request to carry over up to 100 hours of vacation time from 2024-2025 fiscal year 2025-2026 for myself. Respectfully, Gary S. Tremmel, Public Works Director. So it's a request to carry over vacation time. Any discussion?
Just, you guys have been, Gary, been that busy that you haven't been able to take vacations, both you and her?
No, we haven't.
Mike, can I get a motion?
A motion to authorize the carryover of up to 60 hours of vacation time for employee Beth DeCourt from fiscal year 2025 to fiscal year 2026.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then motion to carry over up to 100 hours of vacation time for Gary Tremmel for fiscal year 2025 to fiscal year 2026.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Both motions pass. Consideration of expanding the community septic system loan program, discussion or action. The planner asked for this to be tabled, so can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to table the request to expand the community septic system loan program to provide eligibility for the loan funds to include mixed-use structures and commercial buildings.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. D, funding, Glocester 250 Commission, discussion or action.
Yeah, I asked for this because, it's coming up fast, and they're gonna need money to do different things for different events, and there's nothing that was budgeted this year for that. So I was wondering if we wanted to consider taking some money from council contingency to fund that. There's also another opportunity as well. As we know that there's Hollywood's here in the village tonight, and they used some municipal property, so they're going to make a donation. And my suggestion would be to take that donation. It's a nominal amount, and direct that. We can authorize financial director to be able to that at some point as well.
Sure.
That's just my thoughts.
I think that's a great idea.
I agree.
That makes sense.
Yeah. We got a big party to throw. I agree with that.
So-
Do we have to make a motion on
Yeah, I
that?
think so what amount, I was thinking like around 4,000 for.
How much are we getting from
About 1,000, I think.
so where are we gonna get the other 3 from? Contingency?
Yeah. Because I believe we have
contingency.
Because they're gonna be looking for donations too, but, you know, we need to fund this in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal.
Mhm.
Unless we think 4 is not enough, I think that's a good start.
Good start. All right, we want to have somebody make a motion?
Go ahead, Walt.
I'll make a motion to, fund the Glocester 250th Commission with $3,000 from council contingency and a $1,000 donation for use of town property.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. E, funding, Gloucester Light Infantry, discussion and action. John?
Yep, I asked this to be put on. I had a member of the Gloucester Light Infantry ask me about the funding. We normally give them $1,000 a year. I noticed when I pulled up the budget for this current year that we ended up taking that out because we were so tight on the numbers. I figured as we're coming to the end of this fiscal year, we still have money in our contingency fund, and I'd like to put $1,000, which is what we normally give them each year towards that, because they won't be getting anything next year for it.
They definitely need the extra money
They need it for,
to do what they,
well, they do participate in the Memorial Day Parade. They bring the cannon over, they fire that off. They participate in our 4th of July parade and do other things around the town.
they wanna clean out the building so that they can utilize it for.
Yep, and they have to do some repairs on the trailer that hauls the cannon around, so.
And I know, Beth, you might have some information on that as far as funding for this current year. And I'm not gonna make you get up with your.
Thank you. So there was $1,000 in the FY '25 budget, which they get at the end of the fiscal year. So they'll be getting that within the, because obviously we've only got a few days left
Right.
in the fiscal year. So they'll be getting that within the week. And yes, you're correct, it was removed from the FY '26 budget.
So they could have that for the following year is what I'm saying, because we can take it out now, because again, we
You
were so.
want to take it out of this year's
Yes,
contingency?
yep.
Okay.
That's my intent, because we were very tight on our budget at 3.98, wherever it was we approved for this current year, so
Mhm.
I'd rather take it out, for the next year, that's why I'd rather take it out of our current
So
year.
that means they'd be getting $2,000.
So they'll get two
Yes.
checks in FY '25.
Yeah, you can, if you want to delay the check for 6 months, but that way they have it to, because they're not gonna get anything at the beginning of next year, is what I'm saying.
Right. I think in order to get it into this year, we need to cut the check for this year. So I would have our office cut that check
Yep,
tomorrow.
I would do that, that way they have it, they can put it in the bank and
Okay.
use it for their bills.
So I don't mind it, but the donations they received in the past, that was used for them primarily, pay like electricity, but they also had run the Memorial Day Parade, which they don't do anymore. That's the rec department, so.
I think they still participate in it, again, they
Well,
bring
they
the cannon, they
participate,
fire,
yeah.
I don't know what else they really did to run that parade
Yeah.
in the past, again, I wasn't
So
involved with it.
It was interesting, but they carried on the tradition for a long time, so.
But then they're not gonna get anything, if they get this and then get the other 1,000.
They're not getting anything next year, is the
Because the
thing.
250 is gonna kinda,
Yeah, so then, we'll have to wait till the following year's budget to even look at it.
They need help to fix the trailer too, that they
Right, that trailer.
transport the cannon on,
Yep,
which is kind of
it's
important.
damaged, yeah, I think the back piece of it, the grating fell out or something. Anyway, so, you good with discussion on that? I'd like to make a motion to fund the Gloucester Light Infantry with $1,000 from our council contingency fund for this current year.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. F, 4th of July events, parade and fireworks, discussion and action. The chair stated that she would be present to explain planned events to council. Kathy, would you like to come up and give us an update?
Oh,
I like your shirt.
New shirts this year. new
Festive?
shirts.
Right.
You have new shirts, they'll be on sale tomorrow, 4th of July. Everything is going great. Everything's been approved with the chief. Fireworks, the parade, we are going to have food trucks, tomorrow afternoon and evening at the pavilion over here, across from, in Kentfield. That's something new. I did not realize in the past how many people are like right in town, so we're gonna have, Big Bobby's Barbecue is gonna be at the pavilion. Bubba T's gonna try and get over there. Over at GMP, the band will be starting at 6. We got Dinalicious, Bobber's Quick Lunch, Not Your Average Popcorn, Rocco's Ice Cream, Little B's Barbecue. Everything's going well. I would definitely like little minor details. We will be hopefully finishing up the 1 in 100 raffle, which is that one ticket for $1,000. And we will also be selling the $1 50/50 tickets. Any questions?
So it looks like you did a good job of forecasting the weather for tomorrow. It's not
Yes,
gonna be
yes.
too warm and
Yeah,
it's not gonna rain.
and I hear it's not gonna rain on
Yep.
the 4th. Actually, I have been getting quite a few registrations, which I won't disclose any of them.
Good.
But they are starting to come in a little bit more than I expected, or people stopping in over at the office. I'm sure Beth and the other girls are gonna be like, thank God when it's over. Because it's turned more into a parade committee in the finance office, but, one more week and we'll get through another year, and as of
Well,
right now, the
The big
donations.
one's coming up.
The donations are coming in, basically all the donations that are coming in this year are to sponsor for next year, along with the Senate grant and just the donations that we've been getting from all the local businesses. We're over $10,000 that we've raised.
Wow.
So, you know, we're gonna have the Bristol Fifes, we got Dynamic Rhythm, so we'll have the musical floats and whatever else pops up.
Did you get in touch with Elvis?
Elvis, no, I don't know, I gotta talk to Sandy. We're looking for another mermaid.
I can get that.
She wasn't gonna do.
What's so funny?
You're gonna be a mermaid?
Why not?
No, last year we had the mermaid. Last year we had the mermaid, and we grabbed kids and, you know, that were just like hanging out, like, hey, you wanna be on a float? And we threw the kids and let their parents go up. They had fun. We wanna do something like that this year. It's just, we couldn't, sometimes it's just hard to find people who want to, you know, being paid or not being paid to participate, but, you know, our residents coming through as usual.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting as it is every year.
Awesome, great job.
How long, I know we looked into it before about painting the road, or like, how far in
That
advance?
we'd have to go for the state.
That's a
would have to-
state.
I know, we have to go to the state, how
They
long?
did
do we-
that, I think, in 1776, but 1976. Didn't they do that?
Painted the
I
road.
think
They
I
painted the
wasn't-
roads
yeah, I
red,
wasn't
white, and
born
blue when
yet.
we were kids, all.
Well, not the road, but the.
Well, the
The
yellow
line.
line, red, white, and blue, yeah.
You know, it's something we, you know,
We
can
could
ask
ask
the
for it.
state if they'd be able to do that, or.
I think we have to ask early.
We just go out tonight.
I'll just go paint it. That's what I mean.
Paintbrush.
Yep, ask you to give this later. Oh, do we expect your, I didn't see a big bear,
The big truck?
registration yet?
I need, somebody's actually coming to look at, a hose came off and that thing is way too big for me to try to fix myself, but
I
yes.
hear you might have some competition if you put that one in there. Someone said, well, I have one a lot bigger than his that I'm bringing.
All right.
So.
Really?
We got our veterans, oh, and also I wanted to mention, one of our DPW, employees who also owns a Liberty Farm, he is donating a horse and wagon, which will be the Grand Marshal vehicle for Charlie Wilson.
Oh, wow.
I like it.
So he will be, instead of a convertible, he'll be coming down Main Street in a horse and wagon.
That's awesome.
So I figured that would be a nice touch.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it, no other questions?
Appreciate all the hard work
All right, I
you're
hope I see
doing.
everyone tomorrow, and, oh yeah, Cheryl's in charge of picking up our Grand Marshal, so,
Now I
thank
gotta
you
think
very
about how to
much.
make my truck bigger. We'll get it running.
Probably get it
We
running
gotta
first.
get a tank.
Yeah.
We gotta get a
Thank you.
tank.
I need a tank.
Tank.
Wow, I know somebody's got one, so. All right. G, special event license. David Wright is here from Mulberry Vineyards. Discussion, clarification on his application. So we had a couple seconds to kind of chat before we got rolling today. So if you want to explain.
Yeah, so every year, we go in November for the special use license for events and live music events. And this past year, I think we just need some clarification on the language. It was written up a certain way that doesn't allow us to use all the events that we were given. We were given 24 special event licenses. We were given 11 live music event licenses, and usually the live music licenses are non-consecutive weekends. So we can have a special event one weekend, and then we can have a live music event every other weekend, or non-consecutive weekends. But the way it was written up this year, it says events to be held on non-consecutive weekends. So I just needed clarification from Mrs. Harris, so that we can have our music every other weekend. It's from April to October. divide that in half for non-consecutive, that gives us only 14 weekends to have the event. So we have 24, so we'd never be able to use the events that we were issued. So I just needed to be able to say, live music events are supposed to be for non-consecutive weekends. I have the examples of what it was written up like in previous years.
Okay, so, yeah, I pulled out last year's, so in '23, it was events for non-consecutive, but this has been changing over time, right? Every year, it's been a little different, especially for you. For '24, the motion started, there were a lot of people here, they didn't want to, no, they didn't want anything in '24, for '24, in '23 that happened. The motion was made for non-consecutive events, and then the solicitor suggested that we forgot to put in, no, what didn't have that in it, and he suggested we put it in, and Councilor Burlingame actually added at the end, live music on, so last year, the '24, it was like that. What you're saying.
Right, and I think the intent was that the music had to be on opposite weekends.
Well, if I can, all I can do, and Mrs. Harris really doesn't decide anything about any of this, it's up to this council.
Sure.
I can listen to the tape again and make sure that this is the motion that was exactly made. If it is, I believe it is, but if it isn't, well, then we can change it. If it is exactly the same, I mean, you can ask your solicitor, but I would think you have to have open another public hearing to change it. But that's not my call either.
No, I got a question. Say he has an event, a special event with live music. That's one event, right?
Yeah,
Okay. I'm just making sure that that's not like a
Well-
double thing or.
I see it that way. I don't know if you all see it that way.
And those are all included in the 24, or however many?
Yeah, so usually we do like 8 farmers markets, 5 festivals, and 5 live music events. 11 live music events. So, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So, great event this past weekend.
Thank you.
It went, it was very
Ton
nice.
of work.
It was.
Kids had a heck of a good time.
I guess perceptually, would that be closer to a festival or a farmer's market?
Well, that was a festival.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge to do a little bit of everything. But the goal of the GBA getting involved in that Family Fun Day is to promote the businesses. So the businesses come out, they have like cornhole games for the kids, and they're promoting their realty business. Or they have a dunk tank to support the paparazzi, just to get their name out. So if parents are walking by watching their kids in the dunk tank, they can converse with how to get their dog moving. So that's really a wonderful thing to showcase our business and the town's businesses. The events that we have, last year we had 3 special event festivals or farmers markets, whatever you want to call it. And one was a puppy appreciation with Mind Your Dog. One was an artisan fair with Money Tattoo. So we're partnering up with our local businesses to kind of, do these festivals. So it's a really wonderful thing to do that. And we've had lots of requests to have more. The fire department wanted to have an event and to raise money, so that's why we needed more licenses, that's all.
All right. Well, we're gonna go through and listen to it. And then from at that point, then we can readdress.
Thank you.
But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief, did we have any complaints or anything over this weekend? About this? Okay. Thank you.
All right, legislative updates. Anybody have anything?
We received some correspondence, but, the State House, once again, in their infinite, I won't say wisdom, but they're really doing a number on the cities and towns.
It's not gonna
get better.
It's not gonna help Gloucester's tax rate go down. It's gonna not helping. On the firearm side of things, they passed an assault weapon ban that's going to take effect July 2026. So 60% of the common use firearms in the state will be illegal. There'll be grandfathering in, no registration, but you won't be able to purchase anything new under this current bill.
So we'll be able to hand it down to your, well, you can't hand it down to
You
your
can,
children.
right.
That's the biggest.
That's the biggest problem.
No, you can, you'll be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, the
personal
inheritance
property.
laws, the inheritance laws supersede that, but they still didn't clarify.
There's holes in this
No,
bill
there's
you
a
can
lot,
drive a
it's
bus
a,
through.
it's a very messy bill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that,
Yeah.
okay.
That's
The
all.
other thing too is, you know, all the zoning changes that they're making, it's just really, it's gonna destroy the towns. We're losing all autonomy when it comes to that, which is really one of the things that, you know, is important to not just Gloucester, but most cities and towns, and it's frightening. Because this is just 1 year. Next year, we'll be back at it again. Scary.
All right. Anybody with correspondence, anything? All right.
I just wanted to thank Bob Shields last night, you know. We had the first summer concert. They had to work around Chet a little bit. I don't think we thought that out as well as maybe we should have as far as placement because of where the concerts go. But worked around it, literally, so it was.
So we replant Chet?
Not at this point, but it was a good night, despite the heat and everything, so.
All right, department heads. Any department heads? Any boards or commissions? Any council members have anything? Open forum. Did anybody sneak up there? No. All right.
Anybody like to be heard?
Yes.
Walter here. I want to talk about the proposing another tax bill. The last 3 or 4 years, the town of Gloucester, we've been either paying 4%, when the factory mutual problem came up, I don't know how much we paid that year. It was a lot more than 4%. And every year it's been close to 4%. You kept it a couple of ticks below it. And we're gonna be 4% this year. And then you're gonna have another tax bill come out that'll be almost as big as that one. How do you expect the people of this town to pay all this money?
It's getting expensive to live in a rural area. And that's coming because of state problems into our town. It's only gonna get worse.
It'll go.
And that's no money with plowing, or building or putting any asphalt on the roads. And the town still has the ability to say no.
You know, people won't realize it until it's done. Then you'll hear the people complain.
Oh,
But by
yeah.
then it'll be too late. How many people voted at the last, we had a lot of people, and what was it, 10%?
Like 600 or 700 people, I think.
Yeah,
Less than
and that was
10%.
more, and that was probably one of the busier days too.
You'll probably, if you're lucky, you might get a third. That means 2/3 of the people don't know what's going on
Mm-hmm.
until they get their second tax bill. You told us to vote for the 4%. People voted for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're gonna want another 3% or less. I just don't think that's right.
Well, again, in clarity, we're letting the people of Gloucester decide whether or not those teachers are gonna still stay with us.
You're not doing your job. We voted you in
Yep.
to take care of the town
Mm-hmm.
and to do business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the last 3 or 4 years, I think our town council and our school committee has let the people of the town down. And because we wouldn't be in this spot. Are you gonna tell the people how we got to this spot?
We have been. I've been very vocal about it.
The other night, you were in executive session. You said it's litigation. The school committee, every budget meeting they talked about the budget, it was an executive session.
Mhm.
Until the last one. And You know what they told you? Vote for the budget. And now, after you vote for the budget, everybody wants more money.
Mhm.
Now, you can't have it both ways. You got a budget. I don't know,
If you don't agree with it, you feel free to vote no. I'm sure a lot of town people are gonna vote no. I've been hearing what people are
there's a
saying.
lot of rich people in this town that don't care. They'll vote yes.
This town,
Because there's a lot of people in this town that can't afford what you're proposing.
I understand,
You know, I'm not just talking to you, or everyone.
right?
And
I think we all agree with you. I just think we weren't in the position to make that unilateral decision without bringing it to the taxpayers, because ultimately, I mean, I agree. I
You can
agree,
make it,
nobody
but
can
you-
afford to pay
see,
anything.
you took over this mess from the school committee. Now people are gonna blame you when either the taxes go up.
Yeah.
If the taxes go up, it's gonna be on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if they get laid off, it's on us too. It's a no-win situation.
Well, I feel bad for that, and like I've told you people for 3 years now that a problem was coming, and nobody wanted to address it.
This is not gonna stop being a problem until we're like Johnston on 44. Mark my words, this town is not getting cheaper to live in. We'll be lucky if we can keep rural Gloucester 20 years from now, to keep it rural. The state does not want us to be rural.
We have to cut back. Nobody
There's no
ever
fat.
talks about cutting
Where's
back.
the fat?
We're raising
We
our
have
budget.
no paving for Gary. We're gonna have to go to
Well,
bond.
We're gonna have to go without it for a few years. You think everybody in this town can afford their taxes?
I work 3 jobs to live here.
Well, there's a lot of people retired who can't work any more jobs, and they thought they had enough money to retire, now they don't.
We're gonna need more support from our legislators in order to keep
Well-
the wolves off.
Their names are gonna be brought up too, they're the ones that submitted these bills.
Mhm.
They're part of the process, and I hope they did their homework when they submitted these bills, or before they submitted them, to see what happened in this town for us to get in the place we're in.
Listen, I 100% agree that the majority of people in this town have no idea what's going on. I wish everybody who lived in Gloucester had to spend 1 year on some kind of a zoning board to understand how this town works. But they don't.
No.
They
No.
sit home, they let the things pass. You know, we
I
can't,
understand, you're volunteer, well, you get elected, but you're basically, you volunteer. And the same with the school committee, I think everything is so complicated now.
and we don't have a town manager. We're a $35 million, show me one business that's a $35 million business that doesn't have a town manager or a CEO.
Well,
That's another expense that's gonna be
just to
coming.
finish up, I think you people still have the chance to either cut this money way back, because if I'm not wrong, all these people that are being up, July 1st, they're gonna start collecting. I think the schools have to pay a lot of that money. So, that'll be in the calculations,
Mhm.
that'll add more money to the deficit.
I think it's gonna be very important and critical for everybody to open their mouths constantly about what this means, when it's voted in,
Yeah, well,
or if it's voted in.
I think it's
So-
really spreading quickly through the town. I don't think that this particular issue is one that a lot of people are unfamiliar with, whether it be in the affirmative or in the negative. But it's a hot topic in town right now, and I think that there's gonna be a lot more people coming out to vote one way or another.
yeah, I just hope they vote.
Well, I
Me
think we're
too.
gonna see a big turnout with this.
And the last thing, you people always talk to the school committee. Every time they did the budget, it was budget litigation. The other night, you had budget litigation. Now, are we being sued from, I know you can't talk about too much, but are we gonna be sued?
It looks like that.
They did send us a letter asking us questions about it, yes.
Well,
That's the
if I was
hearsay.
you, I would make, if they want this money, there should be a clause in there where there's no more lawsuits over this. Because if we give them all this money and they still want more,
Right.
I agree 100% with you, Mr.
you know,
Stewart.
I don't know, there's gonna be a lot of unhappy people.
I think we all agree.
Yeah, we don't disagree with you. All right. Next motion, please.
I'll make a motion to seek to convene to closed executive session pursuant to RIGL 42-46-5, A2, sessions pertaining to collective bargaining, litigation, or work sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation. 1, discussion by council, vote, or other action, RE, pending IBPO grievance.
A second?
Second?
Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilor Burlingame,
Aye.
Councilor Delisi,
Aye.
Councilor Greathouse,
Aye.
Councilor Steer,
Yeah? Yeah,
Councilor Worthy.
yeah.
Aye.